Hello everyone at the Let's Academy. My name is Cattoor, and I'm here to help you understand something today. We're going to be talking about modes, and I'm going to do a whole series of videos with you, alright? This is the first one, and in this video I'd like to really help you understand modes, alright? So we'll talk about the misconceptions of modes and all the stuff that you really must understand. So first, to truly understand modes, you do need to know a little bit of basic music theory. So if you really want to understand them, you must know some. Particularly the harmonized scale. You ever heard of that? Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished? This kind of thing? We're going to talk about that. I'm going to shed some light on it for you, alright? Let's go ahead and start now, and I'd like to tell you the biggest misconception of what guitar players think of modes. The biggest thing that kind of trips us up mentally and gives us a kind of a misunderstanding. So a lot of guitar players learn scale patterns, right? We learn these scale patterns, and the thing is, a mode is not a scale pattern. You know, it is a specific sound in music. It's a special flavor, a special, unique sound that is created by certain chords that we use in a particular song. So some people think modes are this. You know, like you start on, let's say, G, and this is like, you know, Ionian, and this is Dorian, and Phrygian, and Lydian, Mixolydian, and so on. And that is correct. However, it kind of leaves a gap in what modes truly are and how to really use them. So it's not just a scale pattern. We have to get beyond scale pattern and think of music in general. So first I recommend knowing all of the notes on the fretboard. You know, if you only know you start on the 3rd fret or the 5th fret and you just think of frets, that's not really thinking about music, that's just thinking about the guitar. So we got to get past that because modes are something we use in all genres of music for every instrument. It's not just a scale pattern, right? So that's the first thing to think about, alright? Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk a little bit of theory, okay? So we need to talk about theory so you really understand the harmonized scale. That is where the modes live. The modes always come out of one parent scale. We call it a parent scale, right? Like it's the mother mode, and we can relate all the modes to this one scale. So let's go ahead and start with a C major scale. A C major scale uses C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do in many places in the world, but it's all the same stuff. So we're just using natural notes from C to C. And to play that on the guitar, we can do it like this. This is one way we can play a C major scale. So I'm starting from the note C here, on the 8th fret of the E string, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? These are the notes, so go ahead and play that. You can look at my hands and use your ear to figure out exactly how to play that, right? So now here's the thing we have to do, right? The harmonized scale. What is the harmonized scale? Well, this is the major scale, and to create the harmonized scale, we just take that scale and we create harmony with each note. So what is harmony, right? Harmony is at least 2 or more notes played simultaneously. So here's an easy way to do this, right? So have you ever heard major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished? If you've heard that before, it lives inside of the major scale, and it's very easy to figure out the chords. So this scale has 7 notes, and that means it also has 7 chords that live inside of there. So here's how we find those chords. We find them by harmonizing the scale. It's really cool. So if I play the first note C, to harmonize it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skip one note. So C, D, E. I'm going to skip D, C to E. So we skip a note in thirds, we call that. Because E is a third away from C. 1, 2, 3. C, D, E, 1, 2, 3. So it's a third away. So if I skip D, C to E, and play those together, I now have harmony, right? So what I'm going to do is do that one more time. Now from E, I'm going to go E, F, G. So skip, I'm going to skip F, and then we have C, E, and G. Those are those notes, and here they are together, harmonized. They happen to create a C major chord. So in a major key, we're in a major key, we're in C major. In a major key, the one chord happens to be major, and it turns out to be major because we took the major scale, and then all we do is skip notes in thirds. So C, E, G, the one chord is major. Now we can number each of these notes like I just said. So if I say C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? That means C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and C is 1 again, or 8. They're the same thing, right? So if we harmonize the rest of the chords, let's see what happens. We start on the note D now, start on the second note, it'll become the 2 chord, right? The second chord in the key of C major. So if we do that, we go D, now we skip a note, right? D, E, F, right? D to F. So we skipped a third, now we have D and F. Here they are together, and from F we'll skip one more, F, G, A. So D, E, F, G, A. D, F, A, when we skip it. That's what it sounds like together, and it happens to become a minor chord. So the 2 chord in a major key is minor, because it happened to be that way like this. Now, we do the same thing, we start on the 3, right? The third note, and that note is E, right? The third note in C major. Same thing, E, we skip F, G. So E to G, and now G, we skip G, A, B. So E, G, B. This is also a minor chord. So it turns out that the 1 chord in a major key is major, the 2 chord is minor, and the 3 chord is minor. Now if we start on F, we skip, we go F, we skip G, F, G, A, B, C. So F, skip G to A, skip B to C. So we have F, A, and C. Right? So those 3 notes played together sound like that, and it turns out the 4th note is major. So the 4 chord is major. We do the same thing, G, skip it, it turns out to be G, B, D. G, A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, and 5. G, B, D, right? So the 5 chord is major. The 6th chord, we do the same thing. It turns out to be A, B, C, D, E. A, C, and E. So the 6th chord is minor, and the 7th note, B, we start on B, so we go B, C, D, and then E, F. So B, D, and F, that's a diminished chord. It's only one in the key that's diminished, the special one, right? And then we're back home, so C, E, and G. So, a very quick way to explain it. I hope you understand that. So we're taking the major scale, and then we're harmonizing each note from the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th note. We harmonize each one, and it turns out that it becomes major, minor, the 2 chord is minor, the 3 chord is minor, 4 chord is major, 5 chord is major, 6 chord is minor, the 7 chord is diminished, and we're back home. So that's why we have this major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. So like I said before, the major scale is our parent mode. We're going to relate everything to C, to the first note, right, of the scale. So anyway, the first chord is major, but the scale that goes with that turns out to be a C major scale, the first mode. Now we have 7 chords, right? We have 7 notes in this scale, and we have 7 chords in this scale. That means we're going to have 7 modes that live inside of C major, including the first one, which is C. That one is called Ionian. Now, each of these modes have a special sound, and they go with the sound of the chord. So here's the thing. we just harmonized those chords, right? We got major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. So what we can do now is, if we add a note, so if we harmonize it, but now we skip another third to create 4 notes instead of 3, it's going to give us another special quality. So this is really the sound of each one of these modes. So let's try that. So C, we skip to E, we skip to G. Now if we skip another one, a third, just the same, so A to B. Listen to that sound now. It's a very special sound. And the scale that fits right with that is if we were to play from C to C. So the scale shares 4 of those notes, right? Because we just harmonized it and we have 4 notes in this new chord. But it has 3 extra ones, and those extra ones are just creating a little bit more color that fits over the chord. So if you hear a major 7 chord, this is a major 7 chord, the scale, the mode that fits over it is a major mode, of course, because it's a major scale. But it should always have at least those same notes, plus some more. So for a major chord, for the 1 chord, the mode that goes with it is Ionian. And if you're playing music just with a major chord, a major 7 chord, you can play Ionian. Because that is the same sound, it shares 4 of the same notes, right? So now, the 2 chord, right? So if we start on the 2, we harmonize again, we have D, we skip to F, skip to A, we're going to skip 1 more to C. Now that turns out to be a D minor 7 chord. Here's a way to play it. Now listen to the sound, this quality, special sound. Right? Now the scale that goes with that is, what we will do is, for this specific sound, we will do a scale using all the same notes in C major, but we'll start on D, of course. Now we have a new tonal center. So the song, or whatever, the sound is created around this chord. This is our center for the music where we're playing. So this new scale will be from D to D. Right? Using still the same notes. We're not changing any notes. We're just going from D to D. And that creates the sound of Dorian. So the second mode is Dorian. Okay? So now we do the same thing with the third note, E. We skip it, E, G, B, to D. And this is also a minor 7 chord. So really, if it's just another minor 7 chord, you know, we would still have that same sound, right? But when we play from E to E, using these same notes in the key of C as our parent mode, you hear that sound? The quality of this scale has a very unique sound. So anyway, the third chord, the scale that lives there, is called the Phrygian scale. So the third one is Phrygian. So far we have Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian when it comes to scales. Now, the next one, the 4 chord is major, right? So let's do the same thing. Let's skip it, but let's add a note. Actually, let's add 2 notes. Let's keep skipping it, see what the sound is. So we have F, A, C, E, G, and then we skip again, let's say B. This B is really what makes the sound special. And if we add those notes, it sounds like this. So this is the sound of Lydian, the 4. So all we do now is play from F to F. The special note here is the sharp 4. Because it's like a major scale, the raised 4th. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and continue. So F to F. So if we do it again with G, we skip to B, skip to D, skip to F. This is a dominant 7 chord. So this is introducing a new chord. So far we've had major 7, minor 7, minor 7, major 7, when we're just using 4 notes. And now for the 5 chord, it turns out to be a dominant 7 chord, which is a different kind of major chord that we haven't used yet. The scale that goes with this is Mixolydian. The 5th mode is called Mixolydian. So we just play from G to G. Right? And it comes up, like again, all of these we share the same notes. So we're sharing 4 of the same notes, but adding 3 more for color. And And that's the sound of mixolydian. Okay? Next we have the sixth note, which starts on A. We do the same. A, we skip to C, skip to E, right? Skip to G. So A, C, E, G. Play that together. It's an A minor 7 chord. We've had this before, right? So again, we play from A to A. And that is a natural minor scale as well. So this is called Aeolian, but also it's just natural minor. Okay? So now, keep on moving, we have the seventh chord. Now this one is the strangest. So B, right, is the only one that's different, right? We came up earlier with a B diminished chord. So B to D, skip a note to F, skip a note to A, play those 4 notes together. Sounds like this. It's called minor 7 flat 5 chord, right? It's a type of a diminished chord, or you could say B half diminished. 2 ways of saying it. So the seventh mode is called the Locrian scale. We'll play now from B to B. It has that special sound. Now we're back home, right? Wow, a lot of stuff, right? So basically I just walked you through all of the names of the modes. So it's like Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. So those are the names of the basic 7 modes that come out of the major scale. Alright guys, so I know this is a ton of information, but that is the basic building blocks that we need to really understand modes. Really understanding the harmonized scale, right? So I recommend that you really spend a lot of time with the harmonized scale and watch this video a few times just to kind of get these ideas in your head, and make sure you really put the stuff on your guitar and you practice. So practice skipping notes inside of one scale, right? So I just skipped notes in thirds, right? And also practice playing from one note, so just from C to C. And then just from D to D. From E to E. F to F, G to G, A to A, B to B, and so on, right? So that's the way to start understanding modes. But this is just the beginning, all right? So now, in the following videos, we're going to go ahead and take one mode at a time and really dissect it and really jam with it. I'll show you how to play it, where it exists commonly in music, and how you can practice this, all right? So thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to really helping you understand modes. So we're going to really dive in these next lessons, all right? All right, I'll see you in the next lesson and get to practicing.